It really is only providing opportunities now to people with a better education.
When you're younger and you're a student in either high school or college or whatever the case may be, you need to know that you're young and take as many risks as you possibly can, because those risks can have huge payoffs and huge rewards in the long term. Now, some of them might not work out, and that's all right. Failure is a good thing. That's a vital skill that you need to learn at a young age, is failing is all right. But giving up is something you should never do. Yes, you can fail, but you shouldn't give up, because if you fail and give up, then all that was a waste of your time and you never got anything done. But if you fail, you should figure out the best way to pull yourself up, get out of that hole that you dug, and figure out a way to become better than you were before. Find out a way to make sure that that failure never happens again. In fact, improve upon that method that you got the failure from and make it better.
Software so that the robot can gather information about its environment, whether it's visual or audio.
And you need to take advantage of every single opportunity that is put in your hands. You see, you never know when it's going to be your last day, and you don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. Unfortunately, there's no way to predict the future, so you need to get the most you can out of each and every single day and truly love what you're doing and love your life no matter what. You need to constantly be finding ways that make you happy and truly full of joy, so that you will always have a fun time while you're living your life and truly enjoying each and every second of it.
In a way that the environment or the ability to feed and educate. Find an idea that requires 3 or 4 years of improvement and patience and really sticking with it, that we're very good at that. Take Windows, which we bet our company on. Everybody doubted that would succeed. IBM did not support us in that. It took longer than we expected, over 4 years before finally graphical interface got popular. And now people take it for granted. It's part of every personal computer, and you just expect it to be there. That was one of the grand successes of the company. In the same way, we're betting on the internet, that our tools there will be popular, and that a few of these content plays that we've decided to get involved in, that the scale and the users will make those into great business. My calendar gets very full with those, and then at night after the kids have gone to bed, I'm on email a great deal. I get messages during the day. That's my chance to give long responses, and then over the weekend I send a lot of mails as well. I take 2 weeks a year to just go off and read and think, where I'm not interrupted by work or anything else. When I started Microsoft, I didn't think of it as all that risky. I mean, I was so excited about what we were doing. It's true I could have gone bankrupt, but I had a set of skills that were highly employable, and in fact my parents were still willing to let me go back to Harvard and finish my education if I wanted to. The thing that was scary to me wasn't quitting and starting the company. It was when I started hiring my friends and they expected to be paid, who went bankrupt, customers that I'd counted on to come through. And so then I got this incredibly conservative approach that I wanted to have enough money in the bank to pay a year's worth of payroll, even if we didn't get any payments coming in. And I'm almost true to that the whole time. We have about 10 billion now, which is pretty much enough for the next year. If you're going to start a company, it takes so much energy that it better overcome your feeling of risk. I don't think that you necessarily, if you're going to start a company, should do it at the start of your career. I think there's a lot to be said for working for a company, learning how they do things. If you're young, it's hard to go lease premises. They made that hard for me. You couldn't rent a car. I want to thank Harvard for this honor. I'll be changing my job next year, and it will be nice to finally have a college degree on my resume. I applaud the graduates for taking a much more direct route to your degrees. For my part, I'm just happy that the Crimson called me Harvard's most successful dropout. I guess that makes me valedictorian of my own special class. I did the best of everyone who failed. But I also want to be recognized as the guy who got Steve Ballmer to drop out of business school. I'm a bad influence. That's why I was invited to speak at your graduation. If I'd spoken at your orientation, fewer of you might be here today. Solidly trying to think about the future, and people get to send me things to read as part of that so-called Think Week. So it's a nice mix of things. About 25% of the time that I'm out traveling around, meeting with customers, Europe, Asia, and that sort of helps me think, okay, do we have the right priorities? What are people responding well to, and what would they like to see us do better? I do remember at the private school I went to, there were other kids whose families were better off, like they had a Porsche or something, but it wasn't that big of a deal. My My thing was that I just loved doing software. I loved hiring people. Microsoft was becoming super successful. The idea of, okay, what am I going to do with this money? You know, I could spend a little bit on myself, you know, and I could give some to kids and, you know, make sure they got a good education, whatever. But as a percentage, even the maximum of those two outlets, you know, became tiny. And so then it was, okay, what do philanthropists do? And studying Rockefeller and all sorts of people who've done all that stuff, I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. Are there research topics that aren't getting enough money? And that's where I started to learn about global health and realized that, like malaria, nobody was putting any money into malaria. The US Army historically had put money in because troops were exposed to malaria, but then they got these drugs, prophylactic drugs like methicillin, and so they didn't need to put any more money into it.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and go ahead and leave us a like rating on this video as well. And you just go ahead and let us know what you thought of this video down in the comment section below.